Okay, fourth grade. This is lesson 6-5, Elbert's eggs. We're on page 201. To give you a hint of how this page is going to work, it will be building off of what we learned about in lesson 6-4, which is partial quotient division. So let me go ahead and jump right into it. Elbert's Egg Emporium. Nice use of alliteration there, by the way. Sells eggs in cartons of 1/2 dozen. Every morning Elbert collects eggs that his hens lay and packs them into the cartons. He packs as many full cartons as he can. If he has any left over, he eats those eggs for breakfast. So first, let's talk about a little prior knowledge. 1 dozen equals, do you know how much a dozen's worth? If you don't, it's 12. Anytime someone talks about a dozen of something, they're talking about 12. So a 1/2 dozen, as you can see from the picture, is going to be half of 12. And we see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And I'll even give you this bonus. At some point you're going to hear it in your life, I bet, unless this phrase totally dies and you never hear it again. But a baker's dozen is 13. I think the origin is like an actual baker would sell like a dozen donuts and would throw in like a bonus donut, okay, to make it 13. They call it, oh, it's a dozen, but it's a baker's dozen. We're going to throw an extra in there. So dozen 12, 1/2 dozen 6, baker's dozen 13. We're dealing with this guy for this problem. Groups of 6. So it says, one morning, Elbert collected 151 eggs. I need to move this down just a little bit. He collected 151 eggs, and so our question naturally is going to be, how many cartons does Elbert need for those eggs? So we have to take those 151 eggs and divide them into groups of 6, because we're trying to figure out how many cartons of 6 can he make using those eggs. Okay, so this is going to turn into our classic, just like 6-4, where they made the problems for us. Now we're going to do a little bit of the work. We're going to take 151. That's our dividend. And we're going to divide it by what? How big is our group, guys? We're going to divide it by groups of 6. So our goal is to find out how many groups of 6 we can make here. So let's think about our rules of partial quotient division. The first thing we need to do is draw this little line along the side. For partial quotients, we're going to make that little line along the side. That's a pretty straight line. I'm impressed with myself. Next up, we need to think of some multiples of 6 that can get us close to 151, or at least up there a little bit. Remember when we did just 6 times 2 equals 12? That only took like a teeny tiny piece off. Okay, 6 times 2, that's not going to work for us. Let's think about tens, because we can multiply tens very quickly. Okay, and last time we did just I think 6 times 10 or 7 times 10, and we got 60 or 70. And we can do that. We can start with 6 times 10 equals 60, and we can take 60 off. But I'm going to challenge you today. Can we do another 10 besides 10? We know 6 times, am I still